Welcome to Rathalos Watch. This is the third episode of Should X Monster Return to Monster Hunter Wilds. In this episode, we'll be discussing an old school monster notorious for being an annoying invader that likes to ruin hunts. That monster is none other than Bulldrome. As always, we'll delve into the monster in greater detail, covering its first appearance, overall reception, memorable aspects, visual design, combat style, and ultimately, whether it should return to Monster Hunter Wilds. We'll discuss how Capcom could potentially bring back the monster, what they should or shouldn't change, what new interactions they could implement, and how the monster could fit into next generation of Monster Hunter in terms of mechanics and design philosophies. Without further ado, let's begin. Bulldrome was introduced in Monster Hunter 2, which was released on February 16, 2006 in Japan and later in the USA in Monster Hunter Freedom 2, when it came out on the PSP on August 29, 2008. He is classified as a fanged beast monster and is also an invader. Hunters can take on this monster for the very first time in a 2-star village quest called Reckless Bulldrome Hunter in the Snowy Mountains biome. In this quest, you simply have to find him and slay him. Bulldrome is a wild boar and the alpha pack leader of the Bullfangos. In terms of looks, there isn't much unique about him other than he has white fur on top of his back compared to the black fur of the Bullfangos. He is an oversized boar with larger tusks than normal, and he's aggressive and territorial if you get near him. He will also get hostile towards his fellow Bullfango herd when he is hungry. Bulldrome can range from the smallest gold crown size of 509.26 centimeters to the largest gold crown size of 1188.6 centimeters. It's also worth noting that he is the weakest to the thunder element. Surprisingly, you cannot break any parts of the Bulldrome, not even the tusks, which I find very odd. Bulldrome is mostly remembered for how little health he has, his spammy charging attack that's always telegraphed, and the fact that he can track hunters and invade their hunts. Last but not least, he is regarded as one of the most annoying monsters due to the crappy camera systems in the older games. You could never tell which direction he was attacking from because the camera never followed the hunter. You had to manually press L on your PSP to recenter the camera behind the hunter to see what was in front of you. Not only did you have to worry about timing his charges to avoid them, but you also had to have an insane game sense to tell which way he was coming from. I can't tell you how many times back in the old days, I and many fellow hunters died because of the stupid camera. The camera issue in the older titles don't just cause issues for Bulldrome, it was a problem with other monsters too, but with Bulldrome it was the most obnoxious. If you were low on HP, you were pretty much forced to go to a different zone to heal because his constant charges were too much of a risk. This is why most people weren't huge fans of Bulldrome, despite him being easy to kill if you looked past the camera issues. Another reason hunters didn't enjoy the fight was because if your target monster was something else like Tigrex or Rathalos, sometimes a Bulldrome would enter the zone and invade your hunt. He would start trolling the hunter and charge non-stop. You either had to put up with it and avoid him at all costs, find and kill him when he was alone, or focus on the Bulldrome while avoiding the other monster. The fight itself is plain. You go around him in circles with whatever weapon you are using and try to get in as many hits as possible while he prepares to charge you. Once you get the timing down and anticipate his charge, he becomes a literal punching bag. His charge is really the only threatening move, and he does it about 90% of the time throughout the fight. On occasion, Bulldrome will do a swipe attack with his tusks if you're standing in front of him. For someone who started their Monster Hunter journey back in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, I had a mix of fond memories and frustrations. One reason I liked hunting him was because I enjoy killing boars. There's something oddly satisfying about taking down a giant aggressive male pig with a gigantic greatsword. However, fighting him could be frustrating because he was a one-trick pony with his annoying charges. It takes forever to get a full charge on your greatsword, and most of the time you couldn't because you had to run before he charged at you. If you are using a hammer, it's better to try hitting him in the head as much as possible for the stun and high raw damage. In terms of his fighting mechanics, he isn't that hard. The real design flaw that made this fight more obnoxious was the camera, as previously stated. Overall, the Bulldrome is a quick hunt and super basic. It can become easier once you figure out the camera issues and get used to his attack patterns and AI behaviors. The big question is Bulldrome worthy of a return to Monster Hunter Wilds? That is a bit of a complicated answer. I believe there is a potential for him. First of all, it would give Capcom a chance to completely redesign him from the ground up. I do not mean his visual design, but his attack moveset and behavior. I believe his visual design is fine as it is. Obviously, he would look much better in terms of visual fidelity thanks to new generation engine and the latest hardware. Another big reason I believe Bulldrome is a good candidate for a returning monster is because of how realistic he is. I can also see Bulldrome traveling in a big pack since that he is already considered to be the alpha leader of the Bullfango herds. If you watched my Doshiguma visual design rating video, you already know I have a thing for more realistic monsters. Monster Hunter Wilds seems to be trending towards a more immersive, grounded realism that looks and feels believable, and Bulldrome fits that bill perfectly as well. Camera issues are no longer a problem as they have already been fixed. Capcom, please bring our fellow feral swine Bulldrome back. I want to see more massive tusks, a beautiful white fur coat, and a pack of hostile Bullfangos that are eating and attacking everything in their path on a brand new engine. It's also worth noting that the last time Bulldrome appeared in a mainline title was in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which was released in the USA on August 28, 2018. Bulldrome also went missing throughout the entirety of the 5th generation iteration of the franchise, just like our monkey friend Kangalala. Another point worth mentioning is that Bulldrome ranked 116th in the Hunter's Choice poll for the top monster during the 20th anniversary event, which is 7 places higher than Kangalala, who placed 122nd out of a total of 228 monsters. I find it quite odd that Bulldrome seems to be slightly more popular than Kangalala among the Monster Hunter community. Personally, I believe Kangalala is a better monster than Bulldrome, but that's just my opinion. Speaking of Kangalala, guys, make sure you watch the previous episode, because that's the monster that I cover. Do you fellow hunters believe that Bulldrome deserves a chance to make a return to Monster Hunter Wilds? Do you think he will be a good fit, or would you rather have someone else from the massive roster of monsters? Let me know in the comments how you all feel about Bulldrome possibly returning to Monster Hunter Wilds. Let me know how you feel about this series and which monsters you'd like me to cover in the future episodes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Peace out and happy hunting.